This is a Lamborghini Huracan. I've never sat in one and I'm really excited to explore it with you. Let's go. First things first, check out this height difference. I'm around 187 centimeters or 6'1", and this car is just hilariously low. And it's also so wide. Check this out. This is just incredible. And that's the back side of it. This is just unbelievable. I'm in love with it. And if you're wondering, this is the key of the Huracan. It's basically an Audi key from a couple of years ago. The graphics are pretty much the same, maybe a bit different. And there's a Lamborghini logo down here, which honestly looks cool, but they could have done more for such an incredible car. Now let's begin checking out this beauty from the front. I'm a huge sucker for headlight design, and this guy is just one of the best. Just look at this. These are the daytime running lights, and they also function as turning signals. Check it out. This whole front section of the car is actually pretty big, so this emblem looks small, but it's actually pretty big in real life. The slope of the hood is actually pretty much the same as the slope of the windshield, which is kind of rare to see. And the hood is also really short. Next up are wheels, and these things look just incredible. The black color is always the answer, especially if they look as good as these ones, and the combination with the orange brake calipers looks just incredible. I really like this. And now it's time to check out those hips. These side skirts run all the way to the back to the air intake that feeds air to the engine, along with these air intakes. Now just take a moment to appreciate this back end. What a car. By the way, these air vents are huge. Check it out. I can fit my whole hand in here, almost. And also up here, just check it out. Ugh. I love that. Such a cool design. Now we're here at the back, and honestly, this thing is my favorite part of the Huracan. I mean, just look at this thing. This is a piece of art, without a doubt. This car actually has rear windows, but those are so narrow that I don't really think we can count them as rear windows because of this element that makes it look so aggressive. I mean, this is probably the most aggressive part of this car. I also love this sharp spoiler, which is pretty small, but it fits this car immensely. The rear taillights, I'm a sucker for taillights, so... And the turn signals are up there. Love it. Love. This model also has a huge rear bumper, which I'm not sure if it's stock or not, but it's absolutely massive. You could basically sit on this thing, and also a golden exhaust tips. So what do you think about these golden exhaust tips? I think they're pretty cool and they look unique, but I personally wouldn't put them on my car. Now let's check out the beast that's hidden underneath here. This opens up nicely, and there it is. Not a lot that you can see, but it's definitely a Lamborghini. What a beast. This thing is massive. This is also a good perspective to see how far in front the engine is actually mounted. See, that's the engine, and those up there are actually driver's seats. So the distance between the engine and the driver is just a couple of centimeters. That's insane. The engine is a classic Huracan engine, a 5.2-liter naturally aspirated V10, and this one makes 610 horsepower and powers all four wheels, which means that this Huracan can go from 0 to 100 in 2.5 seconds, which is just insane. 2.5? Check this out, I just noticed this. See this cross? It's actually not in the middle of the engine, which is kind of annoying to me because this is a really expensive car. And no, I'm not showing it from the side. This is actually seen from all sides, and it's not perfectly in the middle. Now let's check out the front, just for the fun of it. And it's huge. No, I'm just kidding. It's not huge, but it's a decent size front trunk. As you can see here, that's a 1.5-liter water bottle, and it fits just perfectly in there. Now this left back includes some white Lamborghini gloves, which is really interesting, and the tire inflation kit. And this right one actually has a pump to actually fill in the air into the tire. Now it's time to actually get into the car, but first I wanted to show you this perspective. Just look at how insane this dashboard looks from the outside. I mean, that's art all the way around. I love that. So I believe that Huracan was actually one of the first cars to feature this two-part door opening system. But if it's not, please let me know in the comments below. So let's get into the car. This is my first time getting into Huracan, and I'm really excited. Oh, whoa. So this is it. First time sitting in a Huracan. It's so low. It basically feels like you're going to sit down on the floor, but you're not. You're on a pretty comfortable seat that holds you in place very well. The seats are honestly pretty hard, which is to be kind of expected. It's a comfortable place to sit in. Now, the first thing I notice is that the sitting position is really sporty. You're basically lying down low. I like that, of course. It's a Huracan. It has to be that way. Visibility. The visibility is just, that's literally the amount of space I have in front of me. The visibility is really narrow, but it feels cool. Another thing that I quickly noticed is the actual width of the car. The dashboard actually seems really, really wide. See, this is what I'm talking about. This whole section is really, really big. There's no way for me to actually reach to the end there, and I have pretty long arms, so this shouldn't be a problem for me, but it's really, really wide. It's really, really long. It's interesting. I really hope that each one of you gets the opportunity to sit in one of these cars, because it's really an experience of its own. So let's check out the interior up close, and we'll start with the doors. As you can see, the doors are unique, to say the least. I love the orange stitches all the way up here. This is the Alcantara inside, and it feels really nice. I mean, just look at these door handles. That's a piece of art by itself. Then you also have the lock switches and the control for the side mirrors. So this is the view if you are the driver. So yeah, the view of field is really, really narrow, but it actually feels manageable, because you're driving a Lambo and probably everyone will run away from you. You basically turn on the lights, turn on the fog lights, adjust the brightness of the display, and I hope that you can hear this click. Here you can see the brake pedal and the gas pedal, and there's also some hidden storage here under the dashboard. And next up is the steering wheel. Just look at this thing. The first thing you notice are those huge volume buttons back here, volume up and volume down. I hope you can hear this, but those are actually made of metal and they're really cold to the touch. Those pedals are actually bigger than the distance between here, which is kind of funny. And of course, the driving select button. I believe that Strada is the most casual kind of drive, as casual goes in a Huracan. Then you have the Sport and the Corsa, which is basically a track mode. Overall, I really like the steering wheel. It's really nice to hold, and this middle section is again smaller than it actually seems on the videos. I always thought it's a big middle section, but it's honestly pretty small and it looks good. Now let's check out this dashboard, and I'll actually turn on the ignition so the lights come on. And press the button without stepping on a brake, and this actually turns on the ignition. This middle display actually shows you the pressure of the oil, the temperature of the oil, and the state of the battery. And then you have this epic middle section of the switches. Window actuators that actually work in a reverse way than you would expect. This actually opens the windows, and this closes the windows. Now here you have the suspension system, a button to turn off the ESC, a button for the hazard lights, a button to turn on the parking sensors, turn off auto start stop, and another switch for the passenger window. Beneath those switches we can find the AC controls. This part kind of reminds me of Audi switches, which is not a surprise once again. And beneath that you have the controls for the computer and for the radio. Now all of these controls actually work through this display. So once you actually turn something here, this actually changes and you can go through different menus, different settings. And the gear selector, I mean, just look at this thing. This is a piece of art by itself once again. You actually pull it to put it in gear, and then you press to go in reverse or into park, and that's a handbrake. The storage under the handrest is non-existable. This is a pad where you can put your smartphone and probably nothing else, and that's basically it. And this is how the rear window looks like. Now if you look closely, you can actually see the top of the engine here. Also check this out. Once you turn off the ignition, this little display actually shows a little tiny Lamborghini logo, which is kind of nice. Most cars open up their sun visors from the front to the back, but this one actually opens them up from the back to the front. The mirror is, as you would expect, really, really small. Hello! And this is the top panel that turns on the lights, or you can just leave them to turn on when the doors are open. And that's the Huracan. I'm really, really excited that I was able to sit in this car, just touch it and see how it feels to actually be in a driver's seat of one of these things. And I must say, it is just incredible. It's a really great experience. It's a $200,000 car, which it shows. I think that it's worth it. I mean, not sure if it's worth it because I don't have $200,000, but so yeah, this is the most incredible car I've ever sat in, the most expensive car that I've ever sat in, and I hope that I can get a ride in one soon. Now let me know what you think about this car. Would you pick any other competitors over this car, or do you like it? Please let me know your thoughts about this video in the comments below, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already to see more car videos like this one.